नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वाणिज्यते नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति स्वामी नित्य नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेश तारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेश तारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं हरिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषाभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 3, text number 3. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Vividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanagha Jnana Yogena Sankhyana Karma Yogena Yogina. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and others by devotional service. So, read the purport from the line. The same principle is more clearly explained from there in the middle of the purport.
The same principle is more clearly explained in the 61st verse. That is, the Buddhi Yogi is to depend entirely on the Supreme, or more specifically on Krishna, and in this way, all the senses can be brought under control very easily.
Wait. So Buddhi Yoga means action for Krishna. Just a minute. So Buddhi Yoga means action in Krishna consciousness. For Arjuna, it is confusing. If you have to be Krishna conscious, and why to do action, something like that. Arjuna, he can't combine action and Krishna consciousness together. If we are Krishna conscious, then no action. That's what Arjuna is thinking. If action, then no Krishna consciousness. But Krishna is seeing action in Krishna consciousness. So, hmm. So when we do action in Krishna consciousness, we are doing action depending on Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. That is action in Krishna consciousness. Action depending upon Krishna for Krishna's pleasure. That means whatever action we are doing, that also depends upon Krishna. And it is ultimately for Krishna's pleasure. So that is action in Krishna consciousness. That means one is fully dependent upon Krishna. When one is doing when one is thinking himself as the doer, then he doesn't depend upon Krishna. That time also he is actually Krishna is only doing everything. But he thinks that I am doing. But in action Krishna consciousness one is fully dependent upon Krishna. So when action is fully dependent upon Krishna, so then he does everything whatever is pleasing to Krishna. So naturally if it is we have to do things pleasing to Krishna, then senses will be under Krishna's control. So this action in Krishna consciousness helps to control our senses and mind easily because for Krishna, not for ourselves. Okay, read further.
Therefore, both the both the yogas are interdependent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation.
Wait. Action in Krishna consciousness. Action, just like here it is said, religion without philosophy is sentiment, and philosophy without religion speculation. Like that, I would say that Krishna consciousness without action is simply sentiment, and action without Krishna consciousness is simply materialistic. So like that. Read further.
The ultimate goal is Krishna, because the philosophers who are also sincerely searching after the absolute truth come in the end to Krishna consciousness. This is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita. The whole process is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self.
Wait. So, if you are sincere to search out of the absolute truth, then by Krishna's grace you will come to understand that Krishna is the ultimate absolute truth. That will happen only by Krishna's grace, not by our endeavor. Not by our endeavor, we can never reach to the absolute truth because our endeavor is limited. Only by Krishna's grace we can reach to the absolute truth that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And we understand what is our relationship with Him. Read further.
The indirect process is philosophical speculation, by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness, and the other process is directly connecting everything with Krishna in Krishna consciousness.
Yeah. So one is you can with speculation, with your philosophical mind intelligence, you can try to understand what is the absolute truth. And by Krishna's grace, one will come to the understanding of Krishna consciousness. And that is directly acting in Krishna consciousness, in devotion. Okay. So one is directly accepting that this is my father, and another is doing all experimentation and trying to recognize that this is my father. So direct, we accept. That is better. Read.
Of these two, the part of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by a philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process, and by the direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime.
Yeah. So direct method is always easy. Why it is easy? Because it is natural for us. Just like it is easy for the fishes to swim because it is natural for them. For the humans, it is little difficult compared to fish. For fishes, it is easy to swim. Like that, it is easy for us to practice Krishna consciousness because it is natural. Okay. And it is sublime. Means how Krishna is involved in the process is not visible to you. You are doing something for Krishna, but how Krishna is involved is not visible. But Krishna is involved, and the change which takes place in people's life, in their consciousness, that shows that just like cow eats grass and gives milk, it is sublime process, difficult to understand. Okay. How grass turns into milk. It's sublime. You cannot understand it. You cannot understand it through some chemical process and all that. It is sublime. So like that. By practicing process of Krishna consciousness, chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, offering prayers, honoring prasad and all that, ultimately person's character changes. His his heart changes towards love for God and all other human beings. So how the change is taking place? Sublime. So Krishna consciousness is sublime and Krishna consciousness is easy and it purifies the heart, changes the heart. Okay, next verse. न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भान् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषोऽश्नुते न च सन्न्यसनादेव सिद्धिं समधिगच्छति. Read.
Not by merely abstaining from work can one achieve freedom from reaction, nor by renunciation alone can one attain perfection.
Hmm. So every work in this world causes reaction. If you do pious activity, pious reaction, sinful activity, sinful reaction, devotional activity, devotional reaction. Every action has reaction. So, pious reaction or sinful reaction causes bondage in this world. So, people may think that we don't want bondage. That means we should not have reaction. So, work is giving reaction. So, let me give up the work. Then I will not get any reaction. It is not possible. You may give up many actions, but can you stop breathing? Let's say you have stopped breathing. Can you stop your mind? That is not possible. How can you stop your mind? You can stop breathing, but how can you stop your mind? That is impossible. So if your mind is acting and physically you are doing something, even if you are sitting at one place, you are sitting, that itself is an action, and your mind is involved in that. So you cannot escape reaction. You will get the reaction for that. You cannot escape the reaction. So reaction is going to come. If you sit, just by your sitting, some germs may die, isn't it? So like that. So reaction is going to come. And mentally you are active anyway. Reaction is going to come. So by giving up work, you cannot avoid reaction. The reaction can be reduced, but reaction will come. And and even if reaction is reduced, you are still there in this world, in the cycle of birth and death. Just because you are not performing any work, that doesn't ensure that you are free from this material world. Still you will die, and still you have to take birth. Your birth may be very good because you have not performed any sinful activity. Because you are absorbed in higher consciousness, so you may go get birth in higher planets, but you will get birth. Point is that by giving up work, you are not free from the reaction flow. You still remain in this material world in the cycle of birth. So by giving up work, you are not free from reaction. And by accepting the path of renunciation, path of renunciation, meaning one has accepted the order of sannyas, or path of renunciation means one is giving up the fruits, either by giving up of actions or giving up of fruits. Doesn't guarantee freedom from reaction. Whether you give up fruits or give up actions, you are still bound to. You may give up fruits. You are not desiring any material fruits of this world, but then you are desiring liberation from this world. That means that means all pervading, impersonal absolute truth. You want to merge there. That is your desire. So you may give up all material fruits, but still in the mind something is there because of which you will be bound in this world. Reaction is going to come. So it doesn't work. By giving up fruits or by giving up work, you are not going to be freed from this material world. This is what is said. Read further.
Freedom's order of life can be accepted when one has been purified by the discharge of the prescribed form of duties, which are laid down just to purify the hearts of materialistic men.
Wait. So renounce order of life. That means a life in which one is not attached to any fruits. So first be on that level, then accept that apart kind of life. If you're not on that level and you accept that kind of life, then you live. You will show your attachment to fruits in so many situations, and that will be a bad remark that you are a renounced order person and you are behaving like this. It is not good. So renounced order person, he should be detached from fruits. So first one should be on that level of detachment from fruits. So he should practice the prescribed duties and purify himself that he is not attached to fruits, he is detached. Then he can accept the renounced order. So first be detached from fruits by practicing prescribed duty of scriptures. And once you are detached, then accept the renounced order. Read further.
One cannot attain without purification, one cannot attain success by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life, sannyas.
Yeah, so just by accepting the dress of sannyas doesn't work. Your consciousness should be like that, detached from the roots. Then it is okay. Read it.
According to the empirical philosophers, simply by adopting sannyas or retiring from the fruitive activities, one at once becomes as good as Narayan.
So this is the understanding of some impersonalist philosophers who think that accepting sannyas makes one Narayan. Read.
But Lord Krishna does not approve this principle. Without purification of our heart, sannyas is simply a disturbance to the social order.
Yeah, it's like this that if you are not on that level and you have accepted dress, that kind of dress, that is causing disturbance in the society. It's like this that you don't know mathematics and you become mathematics teacher. You cause disturbance in the school. You don't know how to repair car and you start car garage. It will cause disturbance. You don't know how to build how to construct the buildings and you are accepting the role of a builder. It will cause disturbance. Similarly, you are not functioning as a saintly person who is detached from the fruits and you accept that dress. It has caused disturbance. So it should not be done.
On the other hand, if someone takes to the transcendental service of the Lord, even without discharging his prescribed duties, whatever he may be able to advance in the cause is accepted by the Lord. Buddhi Yogas.
Wait. So A sannyasi who is not detached from the fruits is not acceptable. On the other hand, you may not be sannyasi, but you are doing some service for the Lord. See, there are prescribed duties as per Varnashram. Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanprastha and Sannyas, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So as per Varnashram, there are prescribed duties which should be followed. But if someone is not following his prescribed duty, but somehow he offers some service for the Lord, then Lord will accept it. He is not a good person. He is not following his prescribed duty. But he is offering some devotional service for the Lord. Lord is going to accept it. Okay. So, on the other hand, someone may be sannyasi, but he is not detached from the fruits. He is attached. It is not acceptable. He is following his he has accepted the sannyas order, but he is attached to the fruits. On the other hand, someone may not be in following the varnashram order, but he is detached from the fruits. He is offering it to Lord. Lord is going to accept it. Understood? Someone is in varnashram, but he is not giving anything to Lord. He is attached to it. It is not acceptable. Someone may not be in varnashram, but he is offering it to Lord. That is acceptable. That means devotion has more weightage compared to varnashram practices. Of course, one should note that varnashram practices are important so that one practices devotional principles nicely. Without varnashram practices, it is not easy to practice devotional service well. Okay. So one has to be in varnashram. Just like being sinful to practice devotion is not so easy. You are a sinful person, you want to practice devotion. It is tough because your consciousness is very polluted. You have to purify your heart. You have to stop certain activities. Similarly, you are not practicing varnashram system and you want to do devotion. It is difficult. If you practice varnashram and then practice devotional principles, it's easy. So, just like to go from one place to another place by walk is difficult. If you have vehicle, it is easy. Right? So, varnashram is a good vehicle to practice Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent upon varnashram, but it's a good vehicle, good support system to practice Krishna consciousness. So, now we do not know what was the Varna and ashram of Ratnakar, isn't it? He was a hunter. But then he got the mercy of Narad Muni and started chanting Ram, and somehow he was liberated. So beyond Varnashram, he just practiced Krishna consciousness and he got liberated. That is okay. But if Varnashram is there, that is a good support. So this is what is said here. And if someone is practicing Krishna consciousness even without Varnashram, then Lord accepts it too. Read further. स्वल्पमप्यस्य धर्मस्य त्रायते महतो भयात्.
Even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties.
Yeah. So little practice of Krishna consciousness, if you can do, it is good. But if you are under Varnashram and then practicing Krishna consciousness, then it is always better. It helps. न हि कश्चित् क्षणमपि जातो तिष्ठत्यकर्म कृत् कार्यते ह्यवशः कर्म सर्वः प्रकृतिर्जैर्गुणाय. Read.
Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment.
Yeah. So it's difficult to do not any activity. It's difficult to remain actionless. As previous verse also said, not by merely abstaining from the work. No, it's difficult to abstain from the work. Everyone is forced to act. And what kind of action? Depending upon the modes in which he is influenced. If he is having goodness, then he will act selflessly. If he is influenced with passion, then he will act selfishly. And if he is influenced with ignorance, he will act in self-destructive manner. Everyone will act as per the modes. So no one can remain actionless, even for a moment. Everyone is forced to act as per the modes. Read.
It is not the question of embodied life, but it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Without the presence of the spirit soul, the material body cannot move.
Wait. So it's not that body is active, no, soul is active. Because of the presence of soul in the body is active. If soul is out of the body is completely dead, inactive. The soul is the active element inside the body. Read.
The body is only a dead vehicle to be worked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop even for a moment. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it will be engaged in occupations dictated by the illusionary energy.
Wait. So we are always active. So either you will do sinful activity or you will do pious activity or you will do devotional activity. Somewhere you will fall. Either sinful or pious or devotional. Sinful and pious are not good because they keep us bound in this material world. So better practice devotional activity. So 24 hours you are active. So 24 hours practice Krishna consciousness. If you are not practicing Krishna consciousness, then your activity will be either sinful or pious. So better act Krishna consciousness. Read.
In contact with the material energy, the spirit soul acquires material modes, and to purify the soul from such affinities, it is necessary to engage in the prescribed duties enjoined in the Shastras.
Yeah. So if you want to keep yourself away from the influence of modes, accept scriptural principles. Modes are going to influence us in some way. We are not going to listen to them always. We will listen to scriptures. By following the scriptural guidelines and not accepting the direction of modes, we will be gradually elevated from ignorance to passion, passion to goodness, and goodness to pure devotion, transcendence, like that. So we should practice scriptural principles. Read.
But if the soul is engaged in his natural function of Krishna consciousness, whatever he is able to do is good for him.
Yeah.
Srimad
Wait. So one should practice scriptural principles to elevate oneself from the bondage of modes. And the best practice is Krishna consciousness. Because by Krishna consciousness, one is elevated directly to transcendence, not intermediate from ignorance to passion, passion to goodness, and then directly transcendence. So Krishna consciousness is always good. Read.
Srimad Bhagavatam affirms this.
त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं चरणाम्बुजं हरे भजन्नपक्वो तपतेत्ततो यदि यत्र क्व वा भद्रमबोधमुष्य किं को वार्थ आप्तो भजतां स्वधर्मतः.
If someone takes to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras or execute the devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down to the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he can,
Wait. Yes. So, apart from devotional activities, let's say you are performing pious activities. So, actually, someone may be practicing sinful activities. Then he cultivates sinful mentality because of sinful activities. So next life his mind will be sinful, naturally. Someone does the pious activity. Next life his mind will be will carry lot of piety. And someone cultivates devotional practices. So next life his mind will be having lot of devotion. Now, problem with the pious activity is that you one thing is that your mind has become pious. Another thing is to getting the pious results. So as far as results is concerned, it comes and then it goes. But as far as mind is concerned, it has become pious. But it can become sinful also. Hmm. If you are doing pious activities, your mind will become pious. But the same pious mind can gradually be degraded to sinful if you do sinful activities. As far as devotional consciousness is concerned, yes, you are practicing devotional activities, your consciousness will be elevated. And then it may happen that someone may start doing sinful activity. His consciousness may again get degraded. But still, that devotional level which he has achieved, that will never be disturbed. That will never. See, pious mind is converted to sinful mind, but devotional mind never gets converted to sinful mind. Devotional consciousness, whatever is developed, that is there. He has done sinful activities. His mind has become sinful. That is separate quota. That is separate quota, and Krishna will ensure that that quota gets freed fast, so that he again start functioning from here. You understand? Pious level will go down, but devotional consciousness level will never go down. Okay? It will never go down. So that is why we say that whatever growth you have made in devotional practices, it will never be lost. Yes, it will be delayed because of our sinful activities, but it will never be lost. But as far as pious mentality which we have developed, it will be lost if we have developed sinful consciousness. The result definitely you will get. For pious activity, if you are supposed to go to heaven, you will go. And for sinful activity, you are supposed to suffer in hell, that also you will get. Results you will get. But pious consciousness which you have developed, that will be lost. But devotional consciousness is never lost. So there is no loss in devotional practices. Read further.
But if he carries out all the injunctions for purification in the Shastras, what does it avail him if he is not Krishna conscious? So, so the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness.
Wait. So it says that you may be practicing lot of scriptural principles, pious activities. But if you are not Krishna conscious, what is the use? That's what he's saying. Yes, you will get pious results, pious achievements, but you will be lost. On the other hand, if you are practicing devotional consciousness, then it will never be lost. So that is important to come to the devotional consciousness, Krishna consciousness. Read.
Therefore, sannyasa or any purificatory process is to reach the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered as failure.
Yeah. So even if you are developed in a pious activities very high, but because it may get lost, that is why it does not have much value. But if you become Krishna conscious by that, then it has a lot of value. because Krishna consciousness never comes down. It is like this. Just a mundane example. You are doing a business. You are making good profit. Business is business. Today you are making profit. Tomorrow you may get loss. So, so if you tomorrow if you make a lot of losses, then all the profits which we have made will be lost. But if you save that profit somewhere where the profit never comes down, it just remains. Then, in spite your business is lost in loss now, your money is still safe. So you are doing pious activities from scriptures, good. You are practicing Varnashram, very good. But unless it comes to Krishna consciousness, devotional consciousness, what is the use? Because tomorrow some sinful activity you may do and everything will be lost. Better do devotional consciousness. Then it will remain safe. Your consciousness is at the top level. Basically, in all this purport, Srila Prabhupada is just emphasizing Krishna consciousness, devotional consciousness. कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते.
One who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on the sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender.
So, externally you are restraining, internally your mind is dwelling, then it is called as pretending. So you may say, at least he is externally he is trying to control himself. Yes, externally he is trying to control himself. Because internally he is dwelling. So it is not good. So what should be done? Shall he do external sinful activities also? No. Externally also he should restrain and internally also he should keep himself away. Then it is good. Otherwise, today externally he is able to restrain, tomorrow he may not be able to restrain because his mind is dwelling in that. Mind is very powerful, it will just pull that person in the wrong direction. So externally he should keep himself restrained and internally also he should keep restrained. And how to make it happen? Only by practice of Krishna consciousness. And then absorb your mind in Krishna. Your mind is dwelling upon the worldly objects. Externally you are keeping yourself away, but your mind is thinking about it all the time. It is not good. So mind should not think. So what mind should think? Mind should think about Krishna. So mind should think about Krishna and we should act in Krishna consciousness. So only by Krishna consciousness we should keep ourselves away from sense objects both internally and externally. So don't try to be pretender. Okay. Don't be mithyachari. So one should be honest. Just like Ravan. He was mithyachari. Externally he is putting up dress of a sadhu. Internally he is trying to kidnap. Internally he is a demon. Externally posing himself as sadhu. This is mithyachari. So such mithyachar behavior is not. So practice Krishna consciousness. Now, while practicing Krishna consciousness, also one may be not so successful. He is practicing Krishna, just like we are chanting, and mind is diverted. So externally you are chanting, but internally your mind is going in all different directions. So you are mithyachari. No, internally also we are trying to keep our mind focused on Krishna. Our mind is contaminated, so it goes in different direction. But I am not interested in that. I am interested only in focusing my mind in Krishna. So I am not mithyachari. Mithyachari is one whose intention itself is wrong. Externally he is putting up sadhu dress, internally he is thinking of something else. His intent is wrong completely. That is mithyachari. Our intent is not wrong. Our intent is perfectly right. Though we may not be able to function in that good intent proper, that is another subject. Our intent is perfectly right. So we are not pretenders. So one should not be pretender in Krishna consciousness. अरे चलो मंदिर जाना है तिलक लगाओ समझ लो मंदिर जाना है तिलक लगाओ बाकी समय मतलब जिधर जाओ जहां जाते हो वहां का रंग आप चढ़ाते हो अपने ऊपर दिस इज नॉट गुड don't practice Krishna consciousness for the show purpose. Just like, I mean, so-called religious, when Ganesh Chaturthi comes, okay, they become very much devoted to Ganesh. And other times, then they are watching cricket match and all that. Here their devotion goes then. So don't practice Krishna consciousness for the show purpose. Whom are you showing? Ultimately, Krishna is seeing you, whom you will show. Krishna is seeing you. So better practice Krishna consciousness sincerely. Honest practice of Krishna consciousness. That will help you. Read further.
There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness but make a show of meditation while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are the greatest cheaters.
Wait. So these are pretenders. Their mentality is something else. Externally, they show the garb of sadhu or meditation like that. And they may speak also nice philosophy. But internally, they may have some wrong intent and they will cheat. Okay. So, so we should not get caught up in their cheating trap. Okay. Read further.
For the sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order. But if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence.
Yeah. So practice honest Krishna consciousness. If you are not on that level of high elevated Krishna consciousness, don't pose yourself unnecessarily on that. Whatever is your level, on that level, whatever is scriptural prescription, do that. But remain within scriptural prescription. People are not following the scriptural prescription. they may partly follow. Partly means very little following of scriptural prescription. And rest other things they do simply attachment with worldly objects. And they think that we are following scriptural prescription. Very little they follow scriptural prescription. Rest other things they are doing in attachment to material objects. And they think that we are practicing Krishna consciousness. We are following scriptural prescription. No, this is not good. Whatever is your level, on that level practice scriptural principles properly. And if you practice scriptural principles properly, it will help you to be elevated in your consciousness. Because people don't practice scriptural principles properly, they don't get elevated even after many years. Yes. So if you are interested in sense enjoyment, no problem. Be on that level and practice scriptural principles. Practice scriptural principles which is permitting that level of sense enjoyment and accept it within scriptural regulation only. Just like if one wants to eat meat, fine, you practice scriptural rules and regulation. But people don't want to follow scriptural rules and regulation, want to eat meat. And this is happening in all different levels. I just gave one example. Like in all different levels it happens. And people don't want to practice scriptural rules and regulation, but they want simply worldly enjoyment. So this is not good. If one is practicing scriptural rules and regulation, then he will be gradually elevated in Krishna consciousness. Read further.
But he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the objects of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater. Even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy, his knowledge has no value because the effects of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusionary energy of the Lord.
Yeah, so person he speaks very good words, but his mind is completely degraded. Hiranyakashipu is speaking big philosophy. That soul is immortal, body dies, soul goes from one body to another body, so don't cry. All that he speaks to the wives of Hiranyaksh. Big philosophy he speaks. But then after that, what he does? He is practicing austerities with the faith that soul never dies, only body dies. That means he knows that I will not die. So with this understanding he has, and what he wants? He wants to become immortal. He knows that soul never dies. Body only dies. And he is practicing austerity so that body becomes immortal. What is this? So like that, completely wrong intent. Speaking big philosophy, but wrong intent. Like that. So such knowledge has no value. Such people are simply cheaters. Because they are simply searching for the objects of sense gratification in their mind. Though speaking big philosophy or though posing themselves as great youth. So their mind is simply attached to some lower material degraded object. In this way, they are captured by the illusory energy of the Lord. They are in Maya. Though they speak big philosophy, but they are in Maya. Read further.
Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever.
Yeah, mind is impure. So whatever externally he may be showing, some may be big siddhis. Maybe having big siddhis, they can enter into fire or they can read someone's mind, but their mind is impure. They do all sinful activities. So what is the use? So, so such pretenders mind which is impure, though they may be having big siddhis and all that, is of no value. Honest practice of Krishna consciousness desire that will help us to elevate our consciousness and attain Krishna. Full stop. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you.